Welcome, everyone, and good morning. This is the Artist Support Grant Writing Workshop presentation. We're so excited to be able to be with you today and to be able to offer artist support grants this year after 2 years of not being able to offer them. It's a very exciting time for the Regional Arts Commission. My name is Jay Scherter. I am the Communications Senior Manager for RAC. I'm going to be moderating the panel today and looking at your questions. So if you do have questions, please put them in the chat or in the Q&A button. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to the two folks that are going to be giving this presentation, Anne and Chloe. Anne, take it away.
Good morning, everyone. I want to echo what Jay said and welcome you all here. We are extremely excited about opening up the artist support grants this year for the first time in 2 years. And we have a few changes. Some things are the same if you've come to us before. And Chloe and I are very excited about helping you through this process, making sure that you apply on time, and answering any questions you have along the way. I am the Grants and Programs Senior Manager, and Chloe, your exact title is?
Grants and Programs Manager.
I can never get the titles straight. Anyway, we'll get started. So,
do we have Vanessa with a short message this morning?
Vanessa is having trouble with, oh, maybe she's coming in. Hang on. Here she is.
Vanessa. Vanessa, are you with us?
I am. Thank you so much. My apologies. I have my video. Well, I will not belabor. I just wanted to say thank you all so much for making time to engage with this workshop to prepare you to apply for support from RAC. It has been nearly 2 years since we have been able to offer grants to artists in particular. And I just am very excited about this because I know the need is great. And I also want to thank Chloe and Anne for the Herculean effort. This has really been 3 years in the making. We've got a new grants management system, which you'll learn about today. My hope is that you'll see the time, thought, and energy that we've put into really thinking about this process to make it one that you feel good about and that we feel good about. So just wanted to publicly acknowledge Anne and Chloe for their work, as well as Jay, and look forward to seeing all the great things that you are doing in our community to make St. Louis beautiful and healthy in the grant application. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Vanessa. So first of all, before we get started, I wanted to remind everybody about RAC's mission, vision, guiding principles, and core values. They really are the roadmap to and of RAC. So if you don't mind, I'm going to walk us through those. Our mission and vision: as the leading public catalyst for arts and culture in St. Louis, the Regional Arts Commission leverages the power of creativity to strengthen and enrich our community. RAC envisions a full creative life for every St. Louisian. RAC envisions St. Louis as a growing and captivating arts and culture destination. RAC envisions a community rich with opportunities and resources that promote and sustain artists. Our guiding principles: we invest in the region's arts and culture through our grants and programs and special initiatives. We believe in diversity and racial equity, accessibility, and inclusion. We build partnerships that strengthen our community. We are passionate champions that support and recognize artists. We believe every child deserves a well-rounded education that includes the arts. Our core values embody our culture, spirit, and dedication to living our mission. They keep us grounded and help us make good decisions about everything we do. We are passionate champions for arts and culture. We are accountable stewards of the public trust. We are committed to practices that promote diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. We are socially and civically engaged community catalysts, and we are servant leaders. Our grant-making practices all flow from our mission, vision, guiding principles, and core values. They are a balance between our passion and interests and the needs of our community. RAC's Grants Committee and Grants Team, that would be Chloe and me, work to be sure our new grant cycle reflects our mission, vision, principles, and core values, which helps ensure our process runs smoothly, or as we like to say, as smoothly as possible. The Artist Support Grant Overview. As we mentioned earlier, we haven't had a grants round since 2019. So RAC, the Artist Support Grants, serves as funding for the career advancement of individual artists. This grant provides direct funds for an individual artist's projects, needs, or creative opportunities in all artistic disciplines. Direct support enables diverse artists of all disciplines to advance their careers and complete creative projects. It is designed to be flexible and accessible and to encourage creativity, innovation, entrepreneurship, and sustained commitment to artistic work. Grant funds may be designated for, but not limited to, equipment and materials, rental space in terms of studio space, arts-related travel, conference fees, project completion, salaries, professional and artistic development training, and other resources for an individual artist of all disciplines. These requests can be between $1,000 and $5,000. There are eligibility requirements. The artist must be 19 years old or older. The artist may not be enrolled as a full-time undergraduate student. There is a local focus. The artist must be a current resident of St. Louis City or County and has maintained primary residence in St. Louis City or County for at least 1 year, and documentation is required. We will accept voter registration, automobile registration, income tax, property tax receipts, etc. Other eligibility requirements include current work. In the past 3 years, the artist has created and presented their own original works to the public or performed for the public, and documentation again is required here. And if you are a previous RAC grant recipient, you may not have received an artist support grant in the past 16 months, nor have received an artist fellowship in the past 18 months. There are two types of projects that individual artists may apply for. One is a public-facing project, and one is a personal needs project. We'll get into both of those in depth a little bit later. Our discipline categories include, and these are really taken from the National Endowment for the Arts, arts education, arts services, dance, design, folk and traditional arts, literary arts, media arts, music, musical theater, opera, presenting and multidisciplinary works, theater arts, visual arts, and social practice. To access the application, you need to get to the RAC website, and you will find a link there that you will click, and this is what you will see. Because we have a brand new system this year, even if you've applied for an artist support grant or an artist fellowship grant in the past, you still need to create a new account. You still need to create a new account. And it's very simple. You will just need to have your email address, and then you will create a password. And that will take you into the eligibility quiz, which is very simple, asking the questions that we just went over. And at the end of that eligibility quiz, you will be asked, what is the purpose of your funds request? And you'll have two choices there. A public-facing project, which has an external audience or benefit to the community, and there will be additional questions in that application for you to respond to. Or B, the individual project, which would be for studio equipment, supply need, artistic or professional opportunity. A little bit of an application overview. The application includes the following headings: general information, and then if you select the community benefit, you'll see that, a budget, demographic section, and work samples. In terms of the general information session, you will be asked about a project start and end date, which must be between July 1, 2022 and June 31, 2023. We'll repeat that again later, and it's all over our application materials. If you select the community benefit for the public facing project, you will be asked to complete a 300-word narrative in there. Within the budget, we have made that budget form very simple. Your budget must be balanced, and it must be uploaded on the form that you will find in the application. There's also a section on demographics. RAC is gathering demographic data on individual artists. You will be asked to identify your ethnicity, your race, your age group, your gender, and your ability status. And then you will be asked to upload 3 work samples. And we are finding that it is easiest for us in this new system to access your work samples if they are a PDF. So we are encouraging you to turn those work samples into a PDF. The application review and rating. We want you to think about these things as you respond to the questions in the application and before uploading your work sample. They will also inform your budget. Artistic accomplishment. As an artist, have you achieved a relative level of success as evidenced by awards and recognition, including prizes, residencies, or other grants? Presentation opportunities, including juried exhibitions, juried publications, castings, bookings, critical review, and documentation of work. We need to see how your grant funds will be used. So you will provide a clear and accurate budget with a description of how funds will be used. We ask you to think about commitment to deepening and expanding artistic work. Your application must demonstrate a pursuit of creative opportunities as evidenced by workshops and trainings, collaborations, residencies, etc. These funds will further your artistic and career goals. So your narrative and budget will demonstrate the impact relevant to your current and aspirational career. Again, the time frame of the project is July 1, 2022 through June 31 of 2023. If you will not be able to apply at a later date for support of this opportunity, as evidenced by the timeline, narrative, and optional supporting materials. How will you be rated? We're using the NEA rating scale, which we find is pretty simple to use, and we like it. Ratings determine funding. Applicants who receive a rating of 10 are considered model, meeting all review criteria in an exemplary fashion. A rating of 10 is rare. Applicants who receive a rating of 6 are considered good, but some development is needed. Applicants who receive a rating of 4 are considered in need of significant improvement in multiple areas, and depending upon the availability of funds, may not receive funding. As you know now, artist support grants are reviewed based on 5 criteria: artistic accomplishment, clarity of how grant funds will be used, commitment to deepening and expanding artistic work, funds that will further your artistic and career goals, and finally, the time frame of the project. Each of the criteria will be rated 1 to 10, and the scores will be averaged with an application high score of 50. Since each application will be reviewed twice, the maximum score is 100. Applications either receive the full funding amount they applied for, or they do not receive the grant. The review process, this is the flow of the review process, and grant reviewers will play a central role in RAC's annual grant making process. There is an orientation, so we ask that they review the PowerPoint orientation to learn how to review the applications according to the guidelines and review criteria. Then they do an independent review. They read the assigned applications in their entirety and provide ratings and diligent notes. And then there's an internal staff review where Chloe and I analyze all average scores from reviewers to finalize a list of grantees that is diverse in ethnicity, race, background, and discipline. And then at the end of that process, we ask for evaluation from the reviewers so that we can improve our processes. You know, one thing I wanted to, that I did not go into that I intended to was that as you start thinking about your projects for us, there are some artist support grant restrictions that you will find listed on our website. And I'm going to go over those right now. A proposed project cannot receive funding from multiple RAC opportunities. This includes projects where an individual artist is partnering with, employed by, or contracted by a RAC organizational grant recipient, and individual artists collaborating on the same project and applying separately. Multiple applications for the same project will render all applications ineligible to receive funding. Grant funds cannot be designated for these kinds of things: personal vacation, full-time college tuition, any items not directly related to an artist's personal, professional, artistic, or project development. So that means we're not going to pay your rent, we're not going to pay for toothbrushes, no babysitting costs, and no whiskey, no matter how that may grease the wheels. Grant funds may not pay for projects for which the main intent is fundraising or charity, the presentation of other artists' works, including curation, archiving, or journalism, or commissions. No part of the grant may be used for reimbursement of expenses prior to the applicant notification date. Any funds not expended for the purposes of the grant as applied for must be returned to RAC. No part of the grant may be used directly or indirectly to participate in or intervene in any political campaign on behalf of or in opposition to any candidate for public office, or to attempt to influence legislation or to support or promote directly or indirectly terrorism or violent acts. And organizations are ineligible to apply. All right, you may have questions, and Chloe and I are here to answer those questions. And I also want to direct you that if you have technical questions, you need to email this email address, which is also in the grant guidelines that you'll find on our website.
So we have one question from Jasmine. She says, on the eligibility quiz, it asks about being enrolled in full-time grad school, not undergraduate. Are grad students eligible?
Yes, I think that our eligibility states that it's only undergraduates that are ineligible to apply. Is that correct, Chloe?
Yes, I believe so. Let me pull it up really quick. Yes. The artists are not allowed to be enrolled as a full-time undergraduate student. So graduate students are eligible.
Great,
Another
thank you.
question here from Valeria. If we own two entities with different goals or needs, can we apply for both?
If you own, will you repeat that question, Jay?
Sure, it says if we own two entities with different goals and needs, can they apply for both?
I would venture to say that you can only apply, make one application. If you are able to work both of those things into your application, we would entertain that application.
Brian says, a larger part of my practice includes collaboration with other artists. Would my project that focused on collaboration be viable for the artist support grant?
Yes, there is a section where you as an individual artist, now your partners cannot apply separately, but you will outline who those partners are in the application. That is one of the application questions. Chloe, any further enhancement on that question?
No, I think that's good.
Follow-up from Brian as well. Will we be able to actually see the scores we receive, whether we receive the grant or not?
Yes, we will be reaching out to all applicants with their final ratings, their final scores.
Any other questions? Here we go. One from Angela. Are startup arts organizations eligible?
Arts organizations are not eligible to apply in the artist support grant category. You'll need to look at the program support category.
Maria says, I'm contracted by PPA on a different project. Can I apply as an artist on a completely different project?
Yes.
You are welcome, Maria and Angela. Any other questions? These are all great. Thank you so much for all the questions. We love questions. Anybody else? Marina says she does, so we'll await her question. And do remember, if you think of one later, of course, you are more than welcome to email Chloe and Anne. Their emails are up on the list as well. Angela wants to know, can we view the webinar for the program support grants? Of course you can. I can answer that one. We actually have the video up on our website. So if you go to racstl.org/grants, I just put that in the chat. You will see the program support grants section, and you will see the link for the recording for that. So it is up, and it is also on our YouTube channel. So you are more than welcome. Okay, got some other questions here. Michael says, I have secured an invitation to perform at a music festival in Italy in September 2022. I would like to go to that. As band leader, I intend to apply for a RAC grant to offset the travel costs of participating. St. Louis musicians that will exceed $5,000. Can each musician in the group apply separately?
I think we need to chew on that one a little bit. What do you think, Chloe? I think he should get in touch with us.
Yeah, I would agree. Michael, if you could email us, that would be awesome, because I do think that Ann and I are going to have to talk through a few things on this one.
Lacey wants to know, what if we write and direct films? How are we supposed to upload that as a PDF?
Lacey, if you're dealing with links that you want to share with us as a work sample, you can just copy those links into a Word document and then save that Word document as a PDF to upload it. If you, I'm trying to think, I mean, I think everything that you would have, you could put into a Word document and then save it as a PDF. But if you have anything that you specifically want to share with us that cannot be added as a PDF, you can email me and ask me a question about it, or you know, you can upload photos. It's just easier for us if it's in a PDF format.
Yeah, links should work. You know, if you've got everything uploaded to Vimeo, YouTube, whatever, you know, you should be able to share a link, I would think, pretty easily. Valeria says, as a grantee, how does reporting occur is expected as we allocate funds into our initiatives?
Repeat that question, please.
Sure. So I think she's wanting to know, how does she report back to you guys as a grantee if they were to get the grant? How do they report their, you know, the funds being used into their initiatives?
We will be giving you a link that has the final report in it once we make the grant. And then that final report deadline will be August of 2023. But of course, you can always submit that report if your project ended sooner than August of 2023. And we'll make that final report form fairly simple. We're only going to ask the questions that we're going to use, and that's the information that we'll need.
All right, Marina has another one. My project is a collective of many artists working together to bring a production together as a culminating event. Does this qualify?
There again, if it's an individual artist, you know what?
Culminating event, I would think, would be program support.
Yeah, and if you're working with a collective, that would also be program support.
We may need more details from you just to kind of get a sense, but from what you've said in the chat, it does seem like that would be a program support grant.
Question, another one from Jasmine. Can we apply for funds that would be used for professional development and equipment, or do we need to choose one area of focus to apply for?
No, you could do both within, within the funding that we have available. And as long as your request does not exceed $5,000.
Okay, Marina has another one. My project is an annual one. If pre-production and production is in the future and includes some travel, will this qualify even if the event doesn't open until the following year?
I believe so. As long as you're doing the work within the time frame that we outlined, yes.
Brian says, as a grantee, will you pay taxes on the funds or will they be taken out already?
You'll be paying your own taxes.
Valeria says, if we're not selected, will we receive feedback to better position ourselves for future opportunities? I think we answered that one a little bit earlier. The answer is yes, correct?
Yes.
Correct.
Let's see here.
And just as a tip, as long as you are applying for individual artist grants, not only from RAC, but from any source, I think it's always wise if you do get turned down to call those grant makers and to try to get feedback from them. Even if they don't say it, you should always ask. Some may not supply it, but it's good to ask.
Another follow-up here from Marina. If it's considered a program support grant, then as an artist, can I apply for the artist grant to assist with costs as stated in the eligibility requirements?
No. I think what we had said in the restrictions that you cannot receive funding when there's multiple opportunities from RAC. Projects where an individual artist is partnering with, employed by, or contracted by a RAC organizational grant recipient. That's a restriction.
Any other questions? All great questions. Thank you everyone for submitting those. Righty. Well, thank you everyone again. If you do have questions, again, feel free to follow up with Chloe or Ann. They would be more than happy to answer those questions for you. We have a lot of amazing resources on our website at racstl.org/grants. And we would be more than happy, again, to help you in any way we can.